Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 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 2.
Why is it repeating?
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Test.
Because I had my YouTube channel up right here.
I got in trouble when we were running against the senator who was a Mormon, the governor, okay?
A woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Don't have here in Miami, in Florida. You don't have it here. That is.
When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
Bernie Sanders.
But if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
How are we doing in Syria?
Clap for that, you stupid bastard.
Welcome to Mueller's Day Off Show, Election Coverage 2020. I'm John Mueller, along with my brother Rick Mueller, taking you tonight all the way through the election coverage. Glad to have you aboard, Rick. How you doing today?
Doing well. Doing well.
I just noticed I don't have my whiskey here. I was going to make myself a water and whiskey before we started.
Water.
But I did not do that. All right, we're just doing some sound checks here. Make sure we're set to go for the evening. All right. Get a thumbs up from the wife, Katie. Thanks a lot for that. So, glad to have you aboard tonight. I was going to say Mitchell Telecom Channel 90 Sports because that's what I'm usually doing when I'm doing play-by-play. But Mueller's Day Off Show, backed by popular demand, and put in the description that it's just not our mother. There's actually a few other people that asked if we were going to do it tonight. And of course, Rick, this is the most crucial, special election of our lifetime or anybody else's lifetime.
Since 2016.
Since 2016. Rick actually is getting a shirt made as sponsorship tonight. Rick's T-shirt shop, so we have our one sponsor. So thank you to Patriot Tees store for sponsoring tonight's program. Visit the store at www.etsy.com/PatriotTees with an S store. And remember to use coupon code MDO 2020 for 10% off. That's Mueller's Day Off. MDO 2020 for 10% off. Rick's starting a t-shirt store. He's probably wearing one of them tonight. So go check it out. They're all humor on political and election coverage. So I was running the instrument sound check, Rick. Where are we sitting with the calls here at the 7:30 East Coast time?
So right now, Fox has called Kentucky, West Virginia for Trump, and has called Vermont and Virginia for Biden.
So right now the count stands at basically 16-13 early on in Biden with the early win. No real surprises there. New Hampshire maybe somewhat of a maybe just of a heavily lean Democrat, but that is a call. So coming up, Florida, Georgia, both of those now have so we'll watch those two closely. Florida is really kind of one of the linchpins in this whole game for Trump to get re-election. Both candidates spent a lot of time in Florida, 29 electoral votes, I believe. If you're Trump and you lose that, your road gets a lot harder really fast.
Florida and Pennsylvania are both must-wins early here for Trump. Really, if he loses either of those, he's going to have to go back up into the upper Midwest, into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and hope to the polling throughout the campaign has really put Biden up in those states. So be a really tough road for Trump if he loses either Pennsylvania or Florida early on.
And Florida, they're talking very good numbers so far on early vote, Republican early vote, as well as today the number that they're seeing show up. So Florida's one of those weird states. You know, you got Miami, but you have the retirement communities. I was watching a show the other day that they said actually some older folks, I won't call them elderly, are actually going towards Biden because they favor a shutdown because they're more at risk. And some of the youth are actually flocking towards Trump because they know Trump won't do a nationwide or a mask mandate or things like that. So that's kind of an interesting turn they've talked about the last couple of days.
So results are slowly rolling in all those states. Nothing called yet. Nothing too surprising, but nothing definitive in any of those states that the polls was closed. We come up on 7 o'clock Central. We'll get another large group of polls closing.
Yeah.
A majority, I would say, of the Midwest and Eastern states.
So call-in number tonight. Got a number you can call in if you want to join the show. We try to keep it. I said a PG-13. Probably go a little bit towards R rating too. 605-990-9080. 605-990-9080. Taking calls. Special guest going to show in here a little past the 7 o'clock hour. A lot of guy we know that studies politics pretty close, so he'll be in. Surprise guest for you there. Also have a couple other people that we're going to call through the night, but love to have you aboard if you get a chance. But first thing I'm going to talk about, Rick, today, did you end up actually voting today?
I did vote today.
I voted this day about 9 o'clock. Started my day off horrible. Davidson County here, we are a county of roughly 20,000 people. 19,000, is that correct? Somewhere around there.
That neighborhood.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was COVID related or what the case was, but they decided to have one polling place for the entire county at our 4-H grounds. And if you were listening from the Mitchell or Davidson County, you knew the pain that we dealt with. Hour-long waits, not very socially spaced out, just about as bad as you could run a polling place. And disappointed. I've heard some people, our younger brother, from one of them, he drove by 3 times today, and the line was always, I'd say, about 75 yards deep. And of course, some of that's social distancing where people aren't close in a line. But I'd say the average wait time I heard from people is over 45 minutes. And we're not a big city. You hear some of that in the bigger cities, Detroit, Chicago, where you hear those. Don't know the reason. We're going to have to dig into it. I think that we're going to start doing our show more often. That's one of the reasons. We'll see if we can get these Davidson County Auditor Susan Kipke, if she will answer some of our hard-hitting questions on that. But, I never heard that they had trouble getting places to open. I think last time you said there was 5 different polling places
in the past, not necessarily the last election. I didn't dig in too much to it, but there has been times in the past, and I think even the one that I looked at was a middle of the summer type election. It wasn't even a presidential or midterm type election. It did have 5 in the county.
But just disappointed there because it's one of those things. They say if one person dies, that's too many. But if you get one young person turned off because they had to wait in line the first time they ever voted for 45 minutes, that's a freedom that we have and cherish. And you don't, going to vote should be one of the easiest things you do, not one of the hardest things. So, not trying to put down the volunteers that are working there and all that. To risk yourself during this COVID pandemic to go out there and work the polls, nothing but respect for them. But just a little disappointed in that. And I don't think it had to be that way. That's the problem. So we'll see if we can get answers. I talked to a lot of people at work and around the community that they're just pretty disappointed in that. But
yeah, I voted at, I think I left my house at 2, a little after 2:05. I was back home before 2:45. So
you picked a good time spot.
Yeah, I must have picked a good time spot. I did have to wait in line. I mean, I was way out to the people who've probably been to the fairgrounds here in Davidson County, which isn't probably very many, but I was down all the way to the end of the building, standing in line outside, but the line moved pretty quick. And I did come prepared. I knew what precinct I was in, so I could skip that part of the line. And then I didn't have to wait for a booth or anything, and in and out, and not a problem.
So let's jump right in while we're waiting for some more results. Let's talk a little bit about the South Dakota initiatives that were there. Really, none of the candidates, I don't think, especially in our area, Dusty Johnson pretty much unopposed. Rounds has the Muellers candidate. I expect Mike Rounds to win in a landslide. Mike Rounds, though, I didn't even realize he was running until about a month ago. It's welcome to the campaign and the election, Mike Rounds. I guess he didn't feel a need to really run many ads or do any campaigning. Didn't really see him out. Didn't see anything. I didn't even really know he was. Didn't even know he was running until about a month ago.
I would say that overall, I think the local media coverage here about the elections has been pretty sparse. I kind of went back and tried to find some articles on some of the candidates, and really came up with pretty much nothing. So doesn't surprise me that you didn't hear about that. I wasn't even thinking about it myself either. So I didn't realize he was running either, because there was no articles, no interviews, no TV ads to speak of, really. So
yeah, and as we talked through the night, you realize that Rick and we lean conservative. Probably I'm registered Republican, but I wouldn't say that we're lockstep and file with any Republican base. I'd probably call myself more a libertarian, more just want the government to get out of the way and let the people do their own thing, especially at the federal level. I'm big on local and state government. I just don't think Rounds is a very good candidate for South Dakota. I don't think he's the guy I want in D.C. Lifetime politician, governor forever. And we were talking about this today. It almost seems like South Dakota here that we just recycle candidates. You at peer, you're at the state, you're the Senate. Maybe then you go run for Congress, chief of staff, maybe governor. Governor, I'm really not done with my political career yet, but I'm termed out. So let's run for Senate and see how long I can stay in there. Oh, there's no term limits there. I'll just do that until I die. So I don't know what it is about the state of South Dakota, but it just seems like it's rinse and repeat.
Yeah, for sure. You don't get a lot of variety in the candidates. We're a very red state, so there's very little risk of a Republican losing a statewide election, which, in my opinion, has some good points to you, especially if you're a Republican. But it also has some drawbacks that you just don't get the variety in the competition, I don't think.
Yeah. Only three things to vote on besides candidates this year. We had Amendment A and B and initiated measure 26, I want to say. So recreational marijuana, medical marijuana, and sports wagering. I think all three probably have a pretty good chance of losing, just in the state we're in. Just to show you how I voted, I went medical marijuana, yes. Recreational, the libertarian part of me had to really think about that one, but I said no for now. And then sports wagering was a hell yes. As soon as that law goes into place, I'm out to Deadwood. I'm registering. I'm getting my app, and I'm driving back. I don't even care if I stay in Deadwood. So how it works with sports wagering in other states, and I think it'll work the same way here. You have to register at a casino where they take the sports betting. But once you do that, you can be anywhere in the state of South Dakota to actually take the bets. So there will be, if that's the case, there will be a massive surge of, I don't know what the law, 21 probably. Is it going to be a 21? You got to be 21. 21 to 46-year-olds, maybe even 55-year-olds will be headed out to Deadwood to get on that sports betting. And I just look at it, that's actually a game of skill a little bit. Still a lot of luck involved there, but you can study it, you can do it. I don't see why we allow power Keno at gas stations or every bar in town if we don't allow sports wagering. So there's a good tax revenue there. All the states around us, Iowa has gone to it. So I just see it as a no-brainer there.
Yeah, I as well am in favor of the sports betting. I think, like you said, gambling is so widespread in the state. You can do it at every corner gas station, like you said, and much easier and much just random chance machines. I mean, they're for all intents. So I don't buy the fighting the expansion of gambling when it's completely.
And I don't know the studies on this, and if somebody has a better take on this, 605-990-9080, come aboard the Muellers Day Off Election 2020 show tonight. I would think it'd be less addictive. And maybe not so less addictive as easier to control if you actually win or not, or how much there's so many different styles. You can make $20 go a long way versus sticking it in the video lottery machine and kiss it goodbye. I mean, not to say that you can't, but there'll be limits placed on betting. So you'll have limits and all that kind of stuff. So I don't see a problem with it. All right. The other measures, medical marijuana, I think we're both lockstep with this one. Why the heck would you not allow this? If we can go to a lab and produce chemicals that are addictive, harmful to the body, why can you not take a naturally grown substance that is known to help people? And why is that a wrong thing to have in place?
And I mean, a lot of people are going out of state to get it illegally, coming back. Clearly, people are getting the marijuana illegally either way. So yeah, I'm all for the medical marijuana for sure.
Recreational marijuana, like I said, I voted no. I'm not ready to go there yet. Part of it with recreational marijuana for me is if you like marijuana, you probably got a pretty good chance that you know how to get it already. It might be against the law. Not, how do I say this? We don't really enforce the laws that hard for marijuana, especially first or second time users. So I'm just okay with it being like that. If my kids don't see it every day on the streets yet, I'm okay with that. I've also, part of me, been out to Seattle a few times. Our Uncle Riley that lives out there, shout out to him. It's a problem in downtown Seattle in those areas. I don't know if it is completely reason for homeless people and all of that, but it's up there. The easier it is to get, you can do it.
Yeah. And I voted the other way on that. I did go yes on recreational marijuana. I think like John said, the libertarian part of him probably didn't win out, but I definitely have a problem with the fact that they've made a plant illegal. I think that's just ridiculous.
If you got an opinion on marijuana, if you like it, if you like to smoke the weed, let us know about it. 605-990-9080. Aboard the Muellers Day Off Election Show 2020. We're just about getting polls close. Big slew of them, so I think we'll have a bunch of calls here at the 7 o'clock hour. I think Rick's going to take the call. One of the things I'm doing right now is a leadership academy course. And I was thinking about this the other day in class. Every class, it seems like every speaker we have come in talks about leadership abilities and list out the leadership abilities. Well, what makes a good leader? And it seems like, we'll list about eight or nine or 10 out, and every time I end up thinking is either of these candidates really display a lot of great leadership capabilities. You can go from the governor to the president, even down to your local level at city council, and it just seems like good leaders aren't the ones leading our country or our state or our local level of government. So I just wanted to throw out there some food for thought that I was kind of thinking about. Determination, ethics, values, respect, all that kind of stuff. You just see that. It just makes me wonder if why that is. And I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's probably the fact that a lot of these candidates, they're leaders early on. These people were being elected. Being elected doesn't necessarily mean that you're capable of doing the job. Big deal. Taking people that it's been true. So I think it's part of how the campaign process works out. Election work kind of get out of it when you put into it. And I just think the criteria for entering the race isn't necessarily conditioned to
Yeah, I think some of that leadership, one of the values we always talk about is respect, empathy, that sort of feeling is part of the spectrum. And I don't know if I've ever remembered an election like this one. There's been so much name calling, and so much fighting, and so much this and that. We saw it in past elections a little bit, but this one, I can't remember the last time I heard President Trump call Joe Biden anything. Actually, Vice President Biden, Joe Biden. Everything's always been Sleepy Joe, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if I've seen Joe Biden really call President Trump president. And if you call him President Trump, it's always this guy, that guy's doing this. Can you believe this guy? And I get it's a fight, and I get it's a battle. But at some point, we're all Americans. And the fact that they can't see each other as human beings, I don't think. But
I agree. I think it's very calculated.
I can't believe Trump said that. I can't believe somebody telling me to say that. I don't think that's so much the case as they're telling him to say that, or it's calculated. Nobody can be that. To say that. You're nobody can say that you can't call him Sleepy Joe or all of people's names and all that stuff and just say, hey, this is totally bad and we think it's bad data. So they're doing it for a reason, and they know why they're doing it. If Trump was getting bad numbers, such bad numbers for doing that, it wouldn't be happening. He wouldn't be doing it. a lifetime.